Picture this. You finally find a teacher, Stoic, shaman, heyoka, guide, someone with real depth, and the moment you sit down, your mind turns into a cage full of monkeys. Thoughts bouncing, worries screaming, old stories replaying, notifications you're not even holding, 1,000 mental tabs open, all demanding attention at once. And here's the truth most people miss. When your mind is crowded, you can't receive wisdom. You can't even recognize it when it's right in front of you. That's why the real teacher, the solitary one, the one who lives simply, who spends time alone, doesn't isolate out of ego. They isolate out of discipline, out of responsibility, because if they can't keep their own mind clear, they can't hold steady for anyone else. They step back from the noise to protect the one thing that makes them useful: clarity. The ancient Stoics had a brutal, beautiful way to say it. Separate what you can control from what you can't. Your effort, your choices, your character, yours. Other people's reactions, the chaos of the world, the random storms of life, not yours. That single practice, the dichotomy of control, is still taught today because it works. Modern writers point out what therapists have known for years. Stoic principles line up closely with the core of cognitive behavioral therapy, the idea that you can't always control what happens, but you can choose how you interpret it, and you can choose your response. That's not philosophy for armchairs. That's mental hygiene. That's how you stay sane in an insane world. So the solitary teacher trains their mind the way an athlete trains their body. Not to look impressive, not to collect followers, but so they can show up with a steady nervous system when everyone else is frantic. Because when people come seeking guidance, they rarely arrive calm. They arrive spinning. They arrive addicted to stimulation, starving for meaning, carrying invisible panic. They say they want truth, but what they really want is relief. They want a switch flipped, a ritual, a sentence, a shortcut that will stop the noise inside their head. But the teacher knows something uncomfortable. There is no shortcut around the mind. You walk through it, you train it, you clean it, you learn to live in it without being ruled by it. That's why solitude matters. Solitude isn't loneliness. Solitude is rehearsal. It's where the teacher practices the basics: sleep, breath, movement, silence, reflection. It's where they sharpen self-discipline, not harshly, not with punishment, but with moderation and consistency. Stoicism has always emphasized balance in mental and physical well-being, not indulgence, not deprivation, strength, the kind that can hold steady under pressure. And the teacher doesn't do this just to help others. They do it to stay healthy, mentally and physically, so they can keep going. Because taking on other people's pain without a clear mind is like trying to carry water in a cracked vessel. You'll leak out, burn out, and eventually you'll start teaching from exhaustion instead of wisdom. So the teacher returns to the inner work again and again. They practice noticing their thoughts instead of obeying them. They practice mindfulness, simple awareness, moment by moment, because stress multiplies when you live unconsciously. And they practice something the Stoics called negative visualization, imagining loss, difficulty, and change, not to be pessimistic, but to be prepared, to reduce fear by facing it on purpose, to build resilience before life forces the lesson. That practice changes you. When you've calmly looked at worst-case scenarios, the real world stops controlling you with what-ifs. Your nervous system learns, I can handle more than I thought. And when you can handle more, you can guide more. Now here's the twist. The solitary teacher is not hiding from people. They're preparing for people. They're preparing for the student whose mind is so loud they can't hear a single sentence. They're preparing for the seeker who keeps chasing new teachings because they're terrified of sitting still. They're preparing for the angry one, the skeptical one, the wounded one, the brilliant one, the ones who show up not just to learn information, but to borrow a state of being. Because that's what the best teachers transmit. Not just words, presence. A calm that says, I'm not afraid of your chaos. I've met mine. And from that place, the teaching becomes simple, practical, real. Control what you can, release what you can't. Train your attention like it matters, because it does. Protect your health, because without it, your purpose collapses. And keep learning, always. Not for status, not for ego, but to carry light into the unknown and pass it to those willing to walk. So if your mind feels crowded, if your thoughts feel like a swarm, start here. Stop chasing the next answer long enough to build the capacity to receive it. Find 5 minutes of silence today. Ask yourself, what is actually in my control right now? What am I pretending I can control that I can't? Then take one disciplined action, one, toward clarity. And if you want to learn how to do that consistently, how to build a mind that doesn't break under pressure, stay with this work. Follow along. Come back for the next lesson. Because a better world doesn't begin with louder opinions.